everyone! Welcome back to the channel. It's time for our weekly roundup of the most exciting developments in the world of AI. Get ready to be amazed, because this week was jam-packed with news from some of the biggest names in the industry, like OpenAI, Google, Microsoft, and more. So grab your favorite beverage, settle in, and let's dive into the top AI news this week. So grab your favorite beverage, settle in, and let's get started. News number 1. OpenAI makes waves with 12 days of groundbreaking announcements. OpenAI has been on fire lately, dropping some major bombshells in their 12 Days of OpenAI event. They've been unveiling new features and updates that are poised to revolutionize the world of AI. So, buckle up as we break down the most significant developments day by day. Day 1 kicked things off with a focus on expanding access to their most advanced AI tools. OpenAI introduced ChatGPT Pro, a more powerful and feature-rich version of their popular conversational AI. They're making this cutting-edge technology available to a wider audience, allowing more people to experience the power of AI firsthand. Along with this, they released an updated system card for their O1 model, detailing improvements in safety, robustness, and red teaming insights. If you want to learn more about ChatGPT Pro, then watch our last AI news. Link also available in the description. Let's move to Day 2. Day 2 shifted gears to cater to the needs of researchers and those tackling complex tasks. OpenAI announced the expansion of their reinforcement fine-tuning research program, opening the doors for researchers, universities, and enterprises to apply for alpha access and push the boundaries of what's possible with reinforcement learning. Let's see the demo video shared by OpenAI team.
Hi everyone, my name is Mark and I lead research at OpenAI. Yesterday, we took O1 out of preview and we launched it in ChatGPT. We're soon going to launch it in the API. If you haven't been following O1, it's our latest series of model improvements that allow the models to think for a while before they come back with a response. Today, we're really excited to preview our latest advancement in our model customization program. It'll let users fine-tune O1 on their own datasets. And again, this isn't standard fine-tuning. This is reinforcement fine-tuning, which really leverages the reinforcement learning algorithms that took us from advanced high school level to expert PhD level for your own use cases. I want to stress again that this is a preview of something that we're going to launch publicly next year. But if you are a university or you're a researcher or you're an enterprise, we'll give you some information on how you can access our alpha program later. So why would you want this thing? Well, it allows you to take your golden data sets and turn them into unique offerings that will give you the same magic that we have for your own users and your own customers. So I'll let John, Julie, and Justin say a little bit more.
Yeah, hello everyone. Yeah, my name is John Allard and I'm an engineer here at OpenAI.
Hi everyone, I'm Julie Wong. I'm a researcher here at OpenAI.
I'm Justin Reese. I'm a computational biologist at Berkeley Lab.
Today, we're so excited to be introducing this new way of model customization for our O1 series of models, reinforcement fine-tuning, or RFT for short. For the first time, developers, researchers, and machine learning engineers will be able to use reinforcement learning to create expert models capable of excelling at their specific tasks within their domain. We believe that any field which requires deep expertise in their AI models stands to benefit. So if you work in, say, legal, finance, engineering, insurance, this one's for you. For example, we recently partnered with Thomson Reuters to use reinforcement fine-tuning to fine-tune O1 Mini to be a legal assistant in their co-counsel AI. This tool assists their legal professionals in accomplishing some of their most analytical workflows.
Yeah, so some of you will be familiar with the supervised fine-tuning API that we launched early last year. And supervised fine-tuning is really powerful. What you're trying to do is get the model to replicate features that it finds in input text or images. And this is great if you want to change the tone or the style or the response format of the model. Now, with reinforcement fine-tuning, or reindeer enforcement fine-tuning, as I should say, with reinforcement fine-tuning, it's different. So you're not just teaching the model to mimic its inputs. What you're teaching it to do is to learn to reason in entirely new ways over custom domains. And the way this works is that when the model sees a problem, we give it space to think through the problem, and then we grade the final answer from the model. And then using the power of reinforcement learning, we reinforce lines of thinking that led to correct answers, and we disincentivize lines of thinking that led to incorrect answers. And what you'll see is that, with as little as a few dozen examples, the model will learn to reason in new and effective ways over custom domains.
That's crazy that you can do that with just 12 examples. That's not something you can do with regular fine-tuning.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, in the space of large language models and large machine learning, a few dozen examples is basically nothing. Yeah, so for the first time, our model customization platform will support reinforcement learning. And notably, this is the same technique that we use internally at OpenAI to train our frontier models like GPT-4o and the O1 series.
One area with many exciting applications is scientific research. But don't just take our word for it. That's why we're joined today by Justin Rees. Justin is a researcher at ElevenLabs, and one of his areas of study is using computational methods to understand the genetic causes underlying rare diseases. Justin, thank you so much for being here. Do you mind telling us a little bit more about your research and how reinforcement fine-tuning might help?
Sure, thanks. It's great to be here. So one of the areas of my research is rare genetic disease. So contrary to the name, rare genetic disease is actually not rare. So any one rare disease is rare, but if you put them all together, they're actually quite common. And so we're talking about 300 million people globally who suffer from a rare disease. And what's more, these people often have a long diagnostic odyssey of months to years before they find out about their condition.
Well, it's like the whole population of the US.
Yes, it's not a small number of people. And so what we're working on is better computational tools and methods to really research what's important and to help us understand and treat these diseases. So we do our work in kind of an academic setting and learning more about the rare diseases and their causes. And the hope is we'll be able to advance the healthcare for these folks going down the line. And now, assessing rare disease is kind of hard because you kind of have to have two things. You have to have sort of expert domain knowledge about the medical side of things, and you also have to have sort of systematic reasoning over the biomedical data. And this is an area where we think that the O1 model can really help us out with its reasoning capabilities.
That makes a lot of sense. Our large language models have domain knowledge, and our O1 models are really systemic reasoners. So it seems like now there's a pretty good computational method for addressing some of these.
That's right.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the data sets that you're using?
Sure. So this was sort of a collaborative effort between our group and Charité Hospital in Germany and Peter Robinson's lab and the Monarch Initiative. And what we did really was to extract disease information from hundreds of scientific publications that were case reports about rare disease. And so we sort of curated the information, and that's lists of signs and symptoms that were present in the patient and that were excluded in the patient, and then of course the disease that they had, and importantly for this conversation, the causative gene that was mutated that was causing the problems in these folks.
I see. So you and maybe some doctors are trying to figure out, given a patient's symptoms, what gene might have mutated to cause those symptoms.
Yeah, that's right. And so something we've been working on together with the OpenAI team is training the O1 models to reason more effectively about the causes of disease.
Incredible. Thank you, Justin. We're now going to give you a preview of reinforcement fine-tuning at work. And not to steal any thunder, but we're going to take O1 Mini and make it exceed the performance of O1 on this task. That's the O1 that we just launched yesterday. And this matters so much because O1 Mini is a smaller, faster, and cheaper model than O1.
Yeah, so using Justin's dataset, we're going to show you can just drastically improve the performance of O1 Mini on this task where, given a list of symptoms, you're trying to predict which gene might be responsible for the genetic disease. And so to give an overview of this process, we're going to start by looking at datasets that are used to train the model and graders that are used to evaluate the model. And then we're going to launch a training job on OpenAI's training infrastructure. And finally, we'll evaluate the resulting fine-tuned model so we can see how it's improved over the base model that we started with. So to start us off, we're going to jump over to the OpenAI development platform, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to create a new model. So we've had supervised fine-tuning for a bit over a year now. What we're going to do is we're going to select reinforcement fine-tuning. Now, we're going to be training O1, so we'll select that as the base model. And now we need to upload a training data set. And now training data sets, they're just JSON-L files, which is just a file where each line in the file is an example that you want the model to be trained on. For this case, Justin and his colleagues assembled a data set of about 1,100 examples. And so I'll go ahead and upload that one. And just so that we get a really good feel for how this data set works and what this task is, we'll zoom in on an individual data point really quickly. And so this is what an individual data point looks like, and there's really three important things here. So The first is the case report, and this is a description of the patient and the patient's symptoms. So we see that the patient was a 51-year-old woman, the disease onset was not specified. We have a list of symptoms like hypertelorism, hyperparathyroidism, and others. As Justin said earlier, we have the absent symptoms. These are the symptoms that are not present, and this is important because it helps the model to rule out genes that it might think would otherwise be responsible for the symptoms that are present. Next, we have the instructions, and I'm sure if you're watching this live stream, you're familiar with prompting. And so all we're doing here is just prompting the model for what we want it to do for this task. And so what we're saying is, given the list of symptoms and the case report, can you list all the genes that you think might be responsible for the genetic disease that you think is present? And then we also ask it to provide an explanation for why it thinks those genes might be responsible. Finally, we also have the correct answer. And so this is the gene that we happen to know is responsible, but importantly, we're not showing this to the model during the training process. That would be cheating, but we're using it internally during the training process to grade the model's outputs or to check if the model's correct.
This is a pretty hard task. I definitely have no hope of answering this question.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell that we've come up far away from just trying to count the number of R's in the word strawberry. Yeah. So, now when we give the model this prompt, this case report and these instructions, the model is going to output something like this, which is a list of genes that it thinks might be responsible. And importantly, the genes are in sorted order, where the first gene in the list is the one that it thinks is most likely to be responsible, the second one in the list is the one that it thinks is second most likely, and so on and so forth. Cool. So we'll hop back over. And so next we need to upload some validation data. And validation data, it's going to be in the exact same format as the training data, but importantly, there's no overlap in the correct genes between the validation data set and the training data set. And what that means is that the model can't cheat. It has to, or it can't learn to just memorize a list of symptoms and associate those with the gene. It has to actually generalize from the training data set to the validation data set.
Gotcha. So, I mean, where's the reinforcement part come in? We talked about grading. Is that part of the process here?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So grading is done by this concept of graders that we're introducing here. And so graders are really simple. What a grader does is it takes the output from the model and it takes the correct answer and it compares them and it returns a score between 0 and 1. And so 0 means that the model did not get the answer correct at all, and 1 means the model got the answer correct. And you can also give partial credit, so it can be anywhere in that range. So for this specific task, we have a grader that looks like this. So it takes the correct answer that we happen to know, and it takes the output from the model, which is the list of genes, and it produces a score. So in this case, FOXY3 is the correct answer. It was second in the list of genes, and so it gets a score of like 0.7.
I see. So if it had instead said Foxy3 was first in the list, I would have gotten a grade of 1?
Yeah, exactly. And then as it gets further and further along the list, the score kind of gradually decays to 0.
Ah, nice. Makes sense. But what if I have a task that isn't, grading a ranked list? Do we have other graders that are more general?
Yeah. So we're supplying kind of a collection of graders that we think pretty effectively cover the space of possible intents that you might have for while doing reinforcement fine-tuning, and we're always adding more.
Yeah, and eventually we're gonna hopefully let you define your own graders.
Yeah, maybe like upload a Python file or something and do some custom grading. Yeah, cool. So we've defined our training data set, we've defined our validation data set. Let me go ahead and copy in the grader really quick. And now OpenAI allows you to set, we allow you to customize these fine-tuning runs by setting hyperparameters, but we set some pretty good defaults. So I'm just gonna go ahead and click create here. Now, what this is doing is, we've just kicked off a training job. And so the really cool thing is that you bring the data set and you bring the grader, and these are the places where you really have domain expertise and where you can really contribute to this problem. And then you get to leverage the full power of OpenAI's reinforcement learning algorithms and our full distributed model training stack to customize a frontier model for your use case.
So as a user, I just have to bring my data set and the grader, and OpenAI takes care of everything else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Reinforcement fine-tuning jobs can take anywhere from a few hours to a few days to run. So we're going to jump over to a job that I ran earlier this week on the same data set, just so we can kind of see the results. So I'll jump over here. So I had this job that I ran earlier this week. It completed successfully. It produced a fine-tuned model for us. And there's one thing that I want to look at, which is the validation reward score. And so what this is it's the average score from the grader on the validation data set and how it changed over the course of the fine-tuning run. And so what we can see is that the score is going up. And as we said earlier, since there's no overlap in genes between the training data set and the validation data set, it means that the model really learned to generalize on our task. It wasn't simply memorizing a list of symptoms and mapping those to genes. So, while this is cool, the chart goes up and to the right, which is what we like to see, it'd be nice if we could get a better feel for how the model has actually changed during the fine-tuning process. And so, we'll take a closer look at that now.
All right, so we're going to pop over to the evaluations dashboard, which is a product in our developer platform that we launched earlier this year. There's a lot of numbers, but don't worry, we're going to go through all of them. So I've set up 3 different runs here. The first one was a run against our O1 model, which we released yesterday. The second was against O1 Mini, which was the starting point of our fine-tuning job. And then finally, the reinforcement fine-tuned O1 Mini. Now, we looked at the reward going up and to the right, but what does that actually mean for this task? I've set up 3 different evaluations to sort of assess that. The first one is top at 1, which is how often is the correct answer the very first item in the list. Top at 5, which is how often is the correct answer in the top 5 elements of the list. And finally, top at max, did we at all put the right answer in our list? And so looking at top at 1, we can see that our starting point, O1 Mini, got 17%. On our data set of about 200. O1 got 25%, so it's doing better. But then our fine-tuned O1 Mini got 31%. I took a screenshot of this and I put it into ChatGPT and asked it to make me a plot, a Christmas-themed plot. And here's a nice visualization of those 9 numbers that we saw earlier. So you can see our starting point, O1 Mini, across top at 1, top at 5, and top at max. Our O1 model, and then finally, our best performing model, which is this O1 Mini fine-tune here in dotted red line. So looking at these results, what do you think, Justin?
Well, I think this is pretty impressive performance, and especially the increase in the validation data, because that implies that the model is learning something generally about how to reason over these kind of data, which is pretty exciting. And so an obvious question you might ask is, how is this doing compared to existing bioinformatics tools? And I don't really have an apples-to-apples comparison, but because typically in this kind of experiment you would provide genomic sequencing data, and we haven't included that here. But the sort of open-ended querying of models here over incomplete symptom lists is new and exciting, I think.
Great. So these are aggregate statistics, but let's look at the actual model responses. So I'm going to pop on over to this data tab. Let's filter by the passes. And so here is the input that we're giving to the model. So the problem, as John described earlier, is to identify genes that may be responsible for a set of observed symptoms. We asked the model to output a dictionary containing both a string that explains, why did I pick these genes, and of course the genes themselves in ranked order. And then finally, we have the symptom list as well. So this patient presented with subependymal nodules, seizure, and a couple other things. We then run our model. So this was our O1 model. This was our fine-tuned O1 Mini model. We gave it that input. And now the output is this dictionary that we described earlier. So reasoning, the combination of subependymal nodules, seizure cortical tubulars are indicative of this complex, which is commonly caused by mutations in these genes. It lists a couple other potential ones, and then it says TSC2 is the most likely candidate. And if we scroll back on over to our answer, we'll see that TSC2 is in fact the correct answer. So that allowed us to get a pass on top at 1, top at 5, and top at max. So looking at this output, Justin, is this a useful output for the model to be giving back?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's particularly useful to see the model's reasoning, and that's a big contribution here. And also, obviously, the ranked list of answers. So even if the correct answer is not first, you can look at all the possibilities. And it's also great to see the fine-tuning improves the performance in the ranked list of possible answers, so that right answer is getting closer to 1. So that's gratifying.
Justin, kind of zooming out a little bit, how does reinforcement learning shape your field? Can you talk about some trends in biology?
Sure. So I think there's a lot of interest in the research community in using these models for these kind of tasks. And so the feeling for this particular use case is that the best solution in the near term is probably a hybrid solution between existing bioinformatic tools and these models like O1. And so this, I think, is excellent progress in sort of characterizing the strengths of these models and also how we can use tools like fine-tuning to improve performance. And so, like I said, there's not really a comparable benchmark to compare the two, but it's definitely progress in how we can use these models to kind of understand disease. And then, in a larger sense, to sort of how we can incorporate these models into a workflow that will eventually improve healthcare for these folks.
Right.
Amazing. Thank you, Justin. So while we've just shown you an exciting application of reinforcement fine-tuning in scientific research, this is a general purpose technique. We've seen promising results in data sets from biochem, from AI safety, from legal, and from healthcare as well. We can think of hundreds of more examples or tasks that we can use this model on, but we know that you can probably think of many more. So that's why we're so excited to be expanding our alpha program today to enable more people to push the boundaries of the capabilities of our O1 models on the tasks that matter the most to them.
Yeah, so we've been working with a small group of trusted partners to really test out reinforcement fine-tuning, and today we're expanding alpha access via what we're calling the Reinforcement Fine-Tuning Research Program. So this program is ideal for organizations who are currently working on very complex tasks with teams of experts and who think that they might benefit from AI assistance on these tasks. So if you're interested in applying for one of these limited spots, you can find a link to the application in the description of this live stream. And as Mark said earlier, we plan on launching this product, Reinforcement Fine-Tuning, publicly early next year.
Yeah, we're all really truly excited to see what you do with reinforcement fine-tuning. And really speaking as a researcher, there's nothing that makes us happier than seeing our models being adapted and used to advance science knowledge in the real world. Do you have a joke for us today?
Well, as so happens, I do. As it's becoming tradition, I have a Christmas-themed joke. So, we live in San Francisco. Self-driving vehicles are all the rage. Okay. And actually, Santa's been trying to get in on this, too. He's trying to make a self-driving sleigh, but for some reason, his models just keep not identifying trees, and the sleigh is hitting trees left and right. Do you guys have any guesses why?
No.
He didn't fine-tune his models.
Oh, geez. Okay, all right. Please join us next week. We'll have a lot more to share. Thank you.
Let's move to day 3. Day 3 was all about Sora, their revolutionary video generation model. Sora is officially moving out of its research preview phase and into the hands of creators. This groundbreaking technology empowers users to create videos in various formats, generate stunning visuals from simple text prompts, enhance existing assets, and even seamlessly blend different elements together. OpenAI emphasizes that Sora builds upon the knowledge and advancements gained from their previous models, DALL-E and GPT, providing users with an expanded toolkit for storytelling and creative expression. Let's see the demo video shared by OpenAI team.
Welcome to Sora. Let's get started by creating our first video. At the bottom of the screen, you'll see the composer. This is where you can write in text to describe exactly what you want to see in your video. I want to see a family of woolly mammoths in an open desert. Before I create this clip, I'll review my settings. I can add a style preset. I can change the aspect ratio, increase the resolution, increase the duration, and even change the number of variations of clips from a single prompt. And finally, hovering over the help icon will tell me exactly how many credits will be used by creating a video at these current settings. And this all looks perfect. You can go ahead and hit create, and you'll see the video pop right into your library and begin generating. When your videos finish, you can hover over any of the variations to watch all of them play back in real time. For more fine-grained control, you can use your mouse to scrub over the videos and watch them play back more slowly. Clicking on a video will bring it into the lightbox, and you can use the arrow keys to see the different clips in the set. Once you find a generation you love, you can easily build off of it with our editing toolbar. At the bottom of the screen, you'll see a number of different ways to edit this clip. You can always make changes to your prompt or storyboard. You can also recut this clip, trimming or extending any section of the video in a new timeline. Remix lets you use natural language to describe any changes you want to make. Blend lets you transform and influence the contents of a video with that of another one. And Loop lets you create a seamlessly repeating section of a video. And voila! Near the top of the screen, you'll see quick actions like favorite, share to feed, and download. Explore is your destination for inspiration. It's where members of the community can come together to share their work, inspire one another, create with each other's clips, and learn new techniques of working with Sora in the process. If you'd like to learn more, you can go down to video tutorials in your user account menu to see more videos on each of the features that we quickly covered today. Thank you for trying out Sora. We're so happy you're here, and we can't wait to see what you create.
Let's move to day 4. On day 4, the spotlight fell on Canvas, an interface designed for collaborative writing and coding that leverages the incredible capabilities of ChatGPT. While Canvas was initially launched in October, OpenAI dedicated this day to showcasing its versatility and potential, highlighting the wide range of applications it offers for collaborative projects. Let's see the demo video shared by OpenAI team.
We're launching 3 things today. First, we're bringing Canvas to everybody and integrating it into our main model so it just works. Second, we're enabling you to run Python code inside your canvases, and so you see the output whether it's text or graphics. And third, we're bringing Canvas to custom GPTs, so you can imbue all of your custom GPTs with the power of Canvas. So with that, let's dive in.
All right, thanks, Kevin. Hey everybody, my name is Lee, and I'm an engineer helping you collaborate with ChatGPT.
Hey everyone, my name's Alexi, and I'm also a product engineer working on ChatGPT. So Lee, are your kids excited about Christmas coming up?
Oh boy, yes. I thought it'd be fun if we could maybe make a story for them, Christmas story, and use Canvas. Try it out.
Yeah, let's check it out.
Okay, so if I go to ChatGPT, you'll notice starting today, there's a new button in the composer that lets us see all the tools available, one of which is Canvas. So I'm gonna click that. And now anything that I type here is gonna create a canvas. So let's write that story. Help me write a Christmas story about silly elves for my kids. And I'm gonna send that off to ChatGPT, and it's gonna get started right away on making a canvas for us. So there's a handful of things that we should explain what's going on here. The most significant thing that's different is you have this side-by-side view, where on the left is the chat, as you're used to it, and on the right is Canvas. And in Canvas, right now, ChatGPT is busy writing the story for us. This is pretty different from what would happen if you wrote this kind of prompt before. ChatGPT is good at doing this sort of creative writing work, but it would write it directly inline in chat, and sometimes it's hard to piece out what's the document and what's the preamble or the what comes after. Or especially if you wanted to make any changes along the way, things tend to get lost. But now you have this side by side. So let's take a look at what ChatGPT made for us. The silly elves and the Christmas catastrophe.
Oh no, not a catastrophe.
In the snowy village of Tinseltown, nestled at the edge of the North Pole, lived the silliest group of elves you ever could imagine. All right, this is looking pretty good. I could make some changes. I think this title is a little long, so I'm gonna, maybe take this part out. Actually, otherwise this is pretty good.
So ChatGPT can edit and you can edit sort of side by side.
Yeah, so I can type in here, I've been editing the title, I'm kind of making it for my kids. So this is a collaborative document, and just like you might be used to in other document editors, you can come in here, you can add text, you can bold text, you can do lots of things you can do in other document editors. You can edit, ChatGPT can edit. I could go over back to chat, and just similar like I would do in any other ChatGPT workflow, I could give it feedback, I could ask for changes, and it's gonna come in and make those changes directly into the canvas. But rather than show you that, I thought it'd be interesting to show this button in the bottom corner, which has a handful of commonly used shortcuts that's based on things that we know people do in ChatGPT. Suggest edits, ask ChatGPT for feedback about what we might want to change about this. Adjust the length, might make this longer or shorter. Maybe I want a shorter bedtime story. Reading level will change this to make it more sophisticated language or simpler language in case I wanted to make it easier to read for my younger kids. Add final polish is really helpful, especially when you bring your own content. Check for spelling mistakes, grammar, things like that. And then add emojis, that sounds fun.
Yeah, we love emojis.
All right, well, let's try it. So if I click add emojis, I've got some options about where I want to put them, words, sections, list. Let's try words. I click that, and ChatGPT is gonna get to town putting emojis into my doc.
Look at that.
So what you're seeing here is ChatGPT now making a revision to the document in Canvas. It's starting at the top, it's writing a new version of the doc, and it's sort of streaming in on top of the previous version, just to make it a little bit easier to see in context what's changing. And alongside this in the chat, you're seeing that it's editing, and you're noticing that we have our instructions back and forth. But otherwise, it's not getting sort of cluttered up with the different revisions that are happening.
Kind of looks like when my 8-year-old gets a hold of a phone.
Yeah, I think your kids are going to love this, Lee.
There's definitely a lot of emojis that I put in here that did a pretty good job. OK, so that's how you get started with Canvas. Canvas will trigger in a couple different scenarios. You can ask ChatGPT to just start collaborating with you on a piece of content, whether it be writing or code, and it will open a canvas for you automatically. Or like I just did here in the interface, I'll show you again, is this button in the composer to view the tools. You just click Canvas, and that's going to create a new canvas every time.
Let's move to day 5. Day 5 brought us into the realm of mobile technology as OpenAI revealed the integration of ChatGPT into Apple Intelligence. This move signifies the broadening reach of their conversational AI as it seamlessly becomes part of our everyday devices and interactions. Let's see the demo video shared by OpenAI team.
Welcome to day 5. Today is about making ChatGPT even easier to use. Our friends at Apple are releasing the ChatGPT integration in iOS for iPhone and iPad and also on macOS. We really want to make ChatGPT as frictionless and easy to use everywhere. We love Apple devices, and so this integration is one that we're very, very proud of. You can use it without an account. If you have an account, it'll be even better. And I think we should just jump right in and show you how it works.
Yeah, cool.
So this is Dave.
I'm Dave. I'm from the engineering team. As Sam says, we love Apple devices. I've been using one for 30 years on lots of Apple devices.
Wow, me too.
Yeah. On lots of Apple devices now, you will be able to invoke ChatGPT directly from the operating system. So this will work on iPhone, on iPad, and on Mac. We've got 3 different integrations starting today, and we're going to show you all of them today. The first is Siri. So when Siri thinks that it would be helped by giving a task over to ChatGPT, it can just hand it off. The next is Writing Tools. So Writing Tools in Apple Intelligence lets you refine documents and summarize them, get key points. But now you can also use ChatGPT to compose a document from scratch, which is super cool. And also, we've got camera control on the iPhone 16, which lets you invoke visual intelligence, where you can use ChatGPT to learn more about the thing that you're looking at, which is super cool. So this is McDonald from the product team who's going to show us some of this stuff.
All right, let's open up our iPhones a little bit. So now that I have this thing up, there's a couple things that you want to pay attention to. Once you get the iPhone, the first thing is that you have to enable Apple Intelligence. So we'll go into Settings, and we will go right into Apple Intelligence and Siri. I'll enable Apple Intelligence, which I have already, and then as I scroll down, the new ChatGPT extension is now available.
So cool, that says ChatGPT.
When we open it up, you're going to be able to enable ChatGPT, log into your account. In this case, I'm already logged in. And then there's also this option for you to confirm ChatGPT requests. So anytime, as Dave mentioned, Siri thinks, hey, this is a good idea to ask ChatGPT, it will prompt you to do so before you send your information over. And then you'll also have access to the app, which you can update, install, or open directly from here.
And to wrap up the first half of the event, Day 6 delivered advanced voice features combined with video and a fun Santa mode to spread some holiday cheer. While details are limited, it hints at even more immersive and interactive experiences powered by OpenAI's technology. Let's see the demo video shared by OpenAI team.
We're excited to announce that we're bringing video to advanced voice mode. So you can bring live video and also live screen sharing into your conversations with ChatGPT. And the best way I know how to do this is to just show it to you. So I'm going to go into ChatGPT, and you'll see the normal advanced voice mode button on the bottom right of the composer. I click it, and as it loads here, we'll give this one more try. There we go. All right, so you can see as we go into, there's now a couple more buttons on the bottom left. In particular, there's this video button. And so here we are. And I'm going to introduce myself. Hey, Chat, I'm Kevin. I lead product at OpenAI.
Hi, Kevin. It's great to meet you. What can I help you with today?
Well, I'd love to introduce you to a few of my colleagues. Does that sound good?
Sure, I'd love to meet them.
All right.
Hey chat, I'm Michelle and I'm an engineer on the ChatGPT multimodal team.
Hi, Michelle. It's nice to meet you. An engineer on the ChatGPT multimodal team? That sounds exciting.
It is, thanks.
Hi chat, I'm Jackie and I'm the product lead for ChatGPT multimodal.
Hi, Jackie. It's great to meet you too. Sounds like you're all working on some really cool projects.
We really are.
Hey ChatGPT, I'm Rowan. I'm a researcher here at OpenAI on multimodal.
Hi, Rowan. It's nice to meet you. Multimodal research sounds fascinating.
All right, and now I want to see if you remember the folks that you met. So can I give you a quick quiz?
Sure, I'm ready for a quiz.
All right. What was the name of my colleague that was wearing the reindeer antlers?
That would be Michelle.
All right, and how about the name of my colleague that was wearing the Santa hat?
That would be Rowan.
All right, good work. You're 2 for 2. You get an A. Thanks, chat.
Thanks, Kevin. This was fun. Let me know if there's...
We are so excited to start the rollout of video and screen share in advanced voice today. We know this is a long time coming. So to recap, you can already talk with advanced voice in ChatGPT out loud, just like you would a coworker or a friend. Advanced voice uses our natively multimodal 4.0 model. That means it takes in your audio directly, understands it, and outputs audio directly. As a result, conversations with advanced voice have a much more natural conversation pace with a depth of emotion and tone across more than 50 languages. Starting today and over the course of the next week, we'll be rolling out video and screen share in advanced voice so that you can share real-time visual context with ChatGPT to make your conversations even richer and more useful.
We're only halfway through the 12 days of OpenAI, and they've already unleashed a wave of innovations. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our coverage of the remaining announcements. More updates we cover in our upcoming videos. Okay, let's move to next AI news. News number 2, Midjourney releases Patchwork, an AI-powered infinite canvas for collaborative world building. Midjourney just dropped a groundbreaking update called Patchwork, and it's about to change the way we create fictional worlds. Patchwork is an AI-powered infinite canvas designed for collaborative world building. It's currently in research preview, and you can give it a try at patchwork.midjourney.com. Think of it as a giant digital whiteboard where you can brainstorm ideas, write descriptions, and even generate images, all with the help of AI. You can move around the canvas by dragging, zoom in and out by scrolling, and create portals to different worlds. The real magic happens with the toolbox. It's packed with tools for creating characters, factions, portals, and more. You just click on a tool, place it on the canvas, and start filling in the details. Patchwork is all about scraps. Text scraps, images, characters, everything is a scrap that you can drag, drop, delete, and link together. The action bar gives you even more control, allowing you to paint images, generate text with Tell Me More, link and unlink elements, and gather related scraps together. And the best part, it's collaborative. You can invite others to your world, work together in real time, and even chat using text scraps. To keep your world organized, you can save it as a JSON file. Midjourney even offers suggestions and tips for getting started, like creating style reference scraps for consistent visuals and using Tell Me More to brainstorm character details. So, if you're ready to unleash your creativity and build incredible worlds with friends, head over to patchwork.midjourney.com and give it a shot. Don't forget to share your thoughts and feedback with Midjourney. They're eager to hear what you think. Let's see the full demo video shared by Midjourney team.
Hello, and welcome to Patchwork. Patchwork is a world-building toolkit that you can use to create new fictional worlds by collaging together lots of little scraps of images and text. Your main interface for doing this is an infinite canvas. On the canvas, you can generate, organize, and modify text and images to gradually build out a coherent story world. You can click and drag to pan around the canvas as you might expect, or zoom in and out to see more or less stuff at a time. Almost everything on the canvas is a scrap. Clicking on a scrap, like this K, lets you select it and move it around. Selected scraps also display an action bar above them. You can see that in the top left corner here. This action bar allows you to offer a bunch of scrap-specific actions that you can perform. For instance, if you click on one of these, it'll tell you more about what's going on in this particular image. Scraps can be deleted if you don't want to see them anymore. And you can also use Ctrl-Z to undo the most recent action you just performed. On the left side of the screen, you can also see a toolbox. This offers you a bunch of tools for creating new entities that exist in the story world, stuff like characters and places and factions and so on. And there's also tools for making new notes and images. We'll talk more about those in a sec. What I'm going to do now is actually create a portal from the toolbox by pressing the portal button, and then clicking on the canvas where I want to place it. This portal will allow us to create a new world, so let's go ahead and go into it. So now we're looking at the world initialization modal. This is the screen where you can basically choose the high-level premise of the world that you're creating, as well as some style references for this world, and generally the vibe that you're trying to evoke. There's a few different things you can do here. One of these is hit this die icon to kind of shuffle through a bunch of possible different inspirations for the world that you're trying to create. And this is great if you don't know what you're trying to do. You can also kind of pass through this list of randomly selected style reference codes and pick out the ones that you think are especially interesting or compelling to kind of combine them into the world that you're making. I'm going to pick this one. I'm going to hit show me more to get a few more alternatives. I kind of like the pink in this one. I'm probably going to run with this ghost town populated by holograms premise. I haven't really played with that one before, so we're just going to see how it goes. I'm going to go for a super colorful kind of vibe here, maybe. I'm not sure if I want to go as fully abstract as this, but I do like the oranges and the pinks over here, and I really like the soft pinks sort of fading into the background on this one. So I'm just going to go ahead and run with these two. I've got this checkbox checked to use my personalization as well. This is available if you have a personalization code that's been given enough image rankings to be useful. And if you don't have one, then you can't use this feature, but it'll still stylize the world the way that you're preferring based on these style references. So I'm going to go ahead and hit create world here. This is going to take a second to initialize and then set up a canvas for us that has this initial setting premise up in the top left here. We've got it both in this world entity, which is kind of a object that represents the world itself, and in this textual description scrap down here. And both of these are editable if we want. I can rename this world to something else. One thing I can do is keep this description down here and then hit this tell me more button to come up with an automatic name for this world. So the system thinks this would be called Simulacrum Hollow, which I kind of like, so I'm going to leave that. You can see that the style references that we picked are actually populated into the world as scraps. And in the bottom left-hand corner of each one, we've got what we call an entity handle. And this shows that it's kind of linked to this world entity and is considered to be part of that entity for the system's purposes. And that means that when I double-click this entity, all of its scraps get selected. And so far, everything in this world is actually linked together because these are also images that have been generated using my style references and using my personalization, which is over here, as sort of visualizations of this entity, the world itself. We can kind of zoom into these and see which ones we like or don't like. They all have kind of this interesting pink-orange aesthetic. And you can also see that one of these is being used as the portrait for the entity, kind of the default visualization of the world in these little thumbnails or previews of it that you see in the corners of other scraps. So all of this is kind of linked together to give us a high-level vibe for this setting. Now, the next thing you might notice is that we've got this toolbox on the left-hand side. And again, this is the thing that we can use to create new entities of various types. You can never delete the world entity. This is always going to be here, but there's a whole bunch of other things that we can possibly create and delete, and kind of use these if we want to get inspiration on things that might happen in this story. So if I go ahead and I pick character here, I can click on the board to place this character entity where I want. I don't actually have any information about this character yet. I don't have a strong idea of what I'm trying to do in this setting. So I'm going to go ahead and use tell me more again on the entity itself to start populating in automatically a name and a possible bio for this character. So here we've got a character named Amara Vihan. She's a resilient and resourceful historian obsessed with unraveling the mysteries of the Hollow. And she's kind of looking for secrets and things that are in the backstory of this world, but might come to a conflict with people who prefer that this town remains undisturbed. And possibly the citizens of the town themselves don't want her poking around and trying to find this stuff out. I kind of like this, so I'm going to go ahead and try to imagine her as a portrait. And you can see here that what I've done is actually press this paint interaction on the textual description scrap and drag and sort of create what we call an image construction site for portraits of this character. And you can see that the image construction site has both this textual prompt, which is populated from the description that we painted, as well as these srefs, which are the world default style references, this profile, which again is my personalization that's being applied by default because it's attached to the world entity, and of course the character herself that we're trying to paint, Amara. And all of this stuff together can kind of be used as ingredients together with this prompt to create a set of images that reflect these things all being sort of tossed in a blender and used to make a picture. So let's go ahead and paint this batch. We're going to see a few possible different visualizations of what this character might look like come in, and all of them are kind of linked to that Amara Vihan entity by default. Again, kind of you can see that there's this connection between these entities, like this red thing over here, and in the bottom left-hand corner, these portraits, that this is a visualization of this particular character. Okay, so these are all kind of interesting silhouette-y characters for the most part. This is the one that looks most real. And so I'm going to probably keep this one because it might make the best character reference overall. I really like the way that we've got the same hairstyle for this one. And this is kind of a coincidence, but I think I'm going to keep this one anyway. And I'm also going to go ahead and probably delete or maybe even just unlink these two. To unlink them is to say that they're not a part of that character anymore, but I do kind of want to keep them around in the world as possible inspiration for things that might happen in the future. Maybe one of them is a different character, like this lady might be a different person. Maybe there's something else that gets sort of like developed further on in the story that's based on these images, and we just haven't figured out what that is yet. At any rate, I'm going to use, this is my sort of canonical portrait of Amara. This might be an alternative portrait. We'll see how the system is able to make use of this as a character reference. And either way, we now have kind of a default look and a basic description for this person. Now, let's go ahead and see if we can get inspiration for a second character, one who might be a little bit more in conflict with Amara, someone who maybe represents the people of the town or those who don't want her to sort of map out the secrets. So here we've got a former military cartographer turned survivalist hermit who's distrustful of outsiders and is kind of imposed on purpose, or sorry, isolated on purpose. And so Amara is going to sort of come into this town and disturb the situation by asking a bunch of probing questions, whereas Zaina is going to be kind of protective of these secrets and doesn't want to reveal them. Let's go ahead and paint her as well, again using this textual description, and we can sort of shape this image differently if we want. So maybe I'll make a wide portrait and see how that goes. We'll go ahead and paint it, and you can see again that these are all linked up. In the meantime, while these paint, I'm going to go ahead and suggest some places that we might have our characters go, like little parts of this world that they might go to. Oh, an abandoned theater, kind of interesting. Let's come over here and try one more. Dilapidated opera house. Okay, so I kind of like these. They hint at this like sort of performance theme, which I think is kind of interesting. And that's something I was really going for with this initial like ghost town populated by holograms situation. So I might lean more into that in a second. Looking at these character pictures, most of them are of somebody who's viewed from the back, and that makes for interesting sequences of images of people like walking around sometimes. So I might go ahead and keep this image of her being kind of distant and off in the background and has a backpack on maybe. I'm just going to get rid of these and maybe try to use these to give us like a little image sequence of Zaina, maybe hiking through the woods and heading towards one of these destinations that we see over here. With this abandoned theater, I'm going to paint it really fast just so I can get a feel for what it might look like. And same for the dilapidated opera house. I'm going to do kind of a wide one for this one, I think, and see if we like any of those. Now, in the meantime, once I have an image of a particular character, and especially once that character has some portraits linked to them, I can go in and hit this button over here, the repaint button, to basically create a new image construction site with the same ingredients as the old one. So I can do, you can see here that this is all linked up again. We've got this default style references, and we've got this Zaina Delmar character. And because she has portraits, these are going to be used as character references in painting more images of her. So we can go ahead and do something like Zaina walking through the woods, far from civilization. Just kind of get maybe a view of her on a hiking trail or something like that. Okay, so our abandoned theater, we're getting mostly interior views of it over here. And I kind of like this as a way for it to look. I'll delete these other ones that aren't as consistent with that vibe that I'm going for. And over here in this corner, I'm going to, I think, just maybe use these as the exterior for the theater, because we got mostly exterior views of this one, and I kind of like a few of these. I'm going to get rid of most of these pictures. I'm going to actually delete this entity entirely, and that unlinks the stuff that's attached to it. Delete even the concept of it, but link this picture up using this link action here. to the abandoned theater. And so we can now kind of see that there's two different views of this theater, one from the outside, one from the inside, and we might use either of these in a story that we're creating to kind of build out a sequence of images that, again, reflect this character walking from one place to another. Okay, so I kind of like some of these. We've got Xina kind of walking through the woods, kind of weird feet or legs in this one. And all of them have this sort of interesting light being cast down from above that I think is kind of compelling. I'm going to unlink this one because I don't want to use it in this sequence, but I'm going to stash it over here just in case. And we can start to get this impression of Xina walking through this sequence of places and kind of observing weird things going on. Now, an image sequence like this one often benefits from having both perspectives on the character, but also perspectives on the setting. So we can say something like, the underbrush is very thick and tangled. There are lots of weird plants reaching up. And see if we can get an interesting visualization of what that environment she's walking through might look like. And then at the same time, oh, I just clicked a single time instead of drawing a little area, by the way, and that makes a small default size image scrap. So for this one, I'm actually going to go ahead and say, let's do in the background, the mountains are studded with weird obelisks. Let's see if we get some interesting sort of potential background scenery. And then maybe we'll do one more of background. Birds are flying around, but they are very few in number. And we'll see if we get an interesting kind of set of forest scenes that we can basically link up. Okay, so here's some weird obelisks in the background. We'll go ahead and put them, we'll pick this one because this one looks a little bit more abstract and like they're off in the distance. Compared to some of these being a little bit more close up. But here we have a couple of different views of vegetation. I don't like this one that much. This is kind of an interesting one where she might sort of enter a cave or something later on. And over here we've got some bird scenes. This one's not great. This one's not great. I think this one is pretty compelling though. And this one looks more like it's in a suburban or urban environment. So I might even save that for later on. But yeah, we've kind of got this sequence of images of Xina, first maybe off in sort of like the distance from the camera. She's walking through the woods. We kind of zoom out on her and get a view of what the vista she's looking at might be. Over here, we've got sort of a cutaway of like, oh, there's this weird obelisk off in the background. We've got some birds in the distance. We've got these sort of vegetations. Maybe eventually, after she walks past this cave, she's going to find a weird building. And then as she gets closer, I'm going to go ahead and do Xina looks at the entrance to the mysterious theater in surprise. This shouldn't be out in the middle of the woods, right? And then add as an ingredient to this scrap the image of the exterior of the theater that we had before. So you can see here that it's been added as an ingredient. It's got kind of a wide shape here. We've still got these default style references. I'm also going to add Xina directly. In this case, I can use this infer character button because her name is in the text prompt, so it'll just kind of like link her up. And this will make an image that should, in theory, be based on the entrance to the theater and include all of our style references and all the character portraits of Xina herself. So let's go ahead and see if this works. And in the meantime, I might do one or two more images of Xina just to sort of like link these sequences together narratively. I'm gonna do, she crosses the stream, water is shallow but moves fast, and see if we get something of her maybe stepping over like a little bit of water or something like that. I'm actually gonna put these more up here. And here we go. We start to get an impression of her standing at the entrance to this weird building being like, what is this doing here? And I kind of like that. So as she moves in towards it, maybe this one is next, and then maybe it's followed by this one if we're actually entering. Maybe the rhythm here is a little bit off, and we want to remove this middle one, but I have not decided yet. I haven't sort of decided. I'm gonna go ahead and delete, I think. Maybe let's use this one as the middle one. Get rid of this one because it's kind of similar to the other. And then get rid of this one. And then implicitly we have her kind of choosing to go inside. Okay, now up here, we've got her in the middle of a stream. I kind of like this one. This one seems like she's actually crossing it. And yeah, just in general, we get this impression of Zyna kind of moving through the woods in kind of this strange, surreal landscape. Witnessing some of the things that there are to see. We've got almost a montage kind of vibe going on. She reaches the stream. She crosses it, presumably. There's a cave of some sort. And then finally, she reaches this strange building. And she looks at the entrance before deciding that she's probably going to go inside. And so this is the kind of image sequence storytelling that you can already start to do with this tool. I think it's really interesting to try to pan out these narrative sequences and see how they go. Different aesthetics work differently, and you don't always get great results for these, but I'm pretty happy with what we've got so far, and I could definitely imagine this sort of turning into a longer, more elaborate story as I continue. I'm just going to demonstrate a few more possible interactions. So far we've looked a lot at the creation of entities, at linking things together, and making images. But just to sort of point out, you can also create a bunch of different entity types over here. In addition to characters and places, we've got events, which are things that might happen in the story. We've got props, which are objects the characters might find or interact with. We've got factions, which might be groups of characters that are moving around in the background behind the scenes. If I want to, I can actually create a new entity without populating any of its details automatically. So I could say, let's maybe not do a character. Let's do an event. We'll do Zyna finds the weird abandoned theater in the woods. And I'm actually going to put that as the description text for it. I'm going to, for the name of this event, maybe just call it Theater Discovery or something like that. And then I'm going to actually ask the system for more details about this event. It's going to populate in another little block of text here, and it suggests something that might happen next in our story. So while exploring the abandoned theater, Zyna stumbles upon a hidden room containing eerie holographic recordings from the town's original residents. And apparently the town itself was once a place full of real people instead of weird ghost holograms, and that might be the thing that she finds in this theater. So that's kind of an interesting next direction that the story might go. You can also imagine sort of partially configuring these types of entities. So again, like we had the bit where I wrote this text myself and then wrote the name for it myself and then imagined more of it. You can do other configurations of this for characters. So you might have a character that's just like, I need an antagonist for Zyna or something like that. And then let's, on the entity itself, hit tell me more about this character. It'll give us just a name by default, and then I'll ask for even more details. So over here, we've got something like, okay, this is secretly the creator of the simulacrum hollow holograms, using the town as an experiment to study human behavior. Now, this is kind of cliche and kind of generic, but you can kind of churn through a bunch of these and see if you get ones that are interesting, and then kind of reuse the bits that you like. I also encourage people in general to edit this text as much as they can, because editing the text is one of the ways to kind of inject more of your own ideas into the system, rather than just having the system kind of take you on a ride. Okay. So let's go ahead and delete this stuff. I don't particularly need this character. I do kind of like this event. I'm actually going to move it down towards the bottom of our sequence here to remember that I want to sort of have this happen next, basically. And just kind of to zoom out and show us the whole board for a second, there's a lot of different stuff going on here. And I could easily imagine starting to do like a really involved world building session, but it would take a long time. I'm pretty happy with where we're at though, so I'm going to go ahead and hit the share tab and kind of protect this world. By default, everything is editable to everyone, and the portals that we've created to get here make it sort of linked to the lobby world, or the place that we came from. And so what I'm going to do is set this to people can view, but not edit by default. And then if I really want, I can actually add people by their Midjourney ID using this invite tab here. And I'm not going to get into that in this particular video, but this is a thing that you can do if you want to create a world that's only viewable to most people, but also editable to you and some of your friends. And in theory, I could even create a totally private world by setting this to none. I'm not going to do that right now, but this is another option that you have. And because this is a research preview, there's no guarantee that everything is going to be saved completely. So I'm going to also make a local backup of this world by hitting the save button. This will just give me a JSON file that contains all the stuff that I've made. All the images that I've generated here, by the way, are going to be in my gallery on the website, so I can go there and retrieve them. But this will make sure that the scraps and the text and all the different ways that these things are arranged are also backed up in some form. Okay, I've just shown you a whole bunch of stuff. There's actually even more stuff to discover. I think I'm going to leave that stuff to an FAQ. But this is the way that Patchwork works, and I'm really excited to see what people are going to make with it. Thank you.
News number 3, Google introduces Gemini 2.0, a powerful new AI model built for an agentic era. Google DeepMind just introduced Gemini 2.0, their most capable AI model yet. This new model is designed for the agentic era, which means it's all about creating AI that can understand more about the world around you, think multiple steps ahead, and take action on your behalf with your supervision. Think of it as a super smart assistant that's constantly learning and evolving to help you get things done. One of the most exciting things about Gemini 2.0 is that it's natively multimodal, which means it can understand and work with different types of information, including text, video, images, audio, and code. It can even generate its own images and audio, opening up a world of possibilities for how we interact with AI. This new model is already being used to power some really cool projects, like Project Mariner, which aims to revolutionize how we use web browsers. Project Mariner leverages Gemini 2.0's understanding of different types of information to automate tasks right inside your browser, like navigating websites, filling out forms, and even understanding your voice commands. It can even tap into Google Search to provide you with additional information. Imagine being able to tell your browser to book a flight, research a product, or manage your finances, and it does it all for you. That's the power of Gemini 2.0 and Project Mariner. Google DeepMind is committed to developing these technologies responsibly with a strong focus on safety and security. They're taking a cautious approach, starting with a limited number of trusted testers and carefully evaluating potential risks before making these features more widely available. If you're interested in learning more about Gemini 2.0 and its potential, be sure to check out Google DeepMind's website and see the demo video shared by Google DeepMind team.
Gemini 2.0 enables new kinds of multimodal AI agents. Agents that can see and hear the world around you. Think, plan, remember, and take action. Gemini 2.0 is what enables Project Astra, our research prototype of a universal AI assistant. Using capabilities like multimodal memory and real-time information, it lets you understand your world, live.
What can you tell me about this sculpture?
The sculpture you're seeing is called My World and Your World by Eva Rothschild, located in Lewis Cubitt Park in London.
What kind of themes does her work explore?
She creates abstract sculptures that invite viewers to interact with and interpret their surroundings in new ways.
Project Astra is multilingual, using native audio to seamlessly switch languages as you speak.
Est-ce que tu peux me dire quelque chose d'intéressant à propos de ces lanternes?
Bien sûr, je peux vous parler des lanternes. Les lanternes que vous voyez font partie de la porte d'entrée de Chinatown à Londres. நிச்சயமாக இது லண்டனில் உள்ள Chinatown நுழைவாயில்.
We're taking this to the next step with Project Mariner, with agents that can complete tasks on your behalf. You can ask it to do things like this that require multiple steps, doing research to look up the artist, then finding the painting, and then shopping for the right supplies. The agent uses the web to take action and find what you're looking for. It plans and reasons at each step, always staying in your control and completing your task. Gemini 2.0 enables agents that can be applied across domains. We're exploring agents that can explore virtual worlds, assisting you in video games.
Where do you recommend I attack from in this space?
Given the base layout, I recommend attacking from the bottom or south side. This direction allows you to target the town hall directly with your giants, while the wizards can handle the surrounding defenses.
Gemini 2.0 can reason about the physical world, understanding 3D spatial environments and objects. These capabilities are being applied to robotics, with agents that can assist you in your everyday physical environment. Learn more about how Gemini 2.0 is enabling the next generation of multimodal AI agents at deepmind.google/Gemini.
News number 4. Google DeepMind unveils Project Mariner. Reimagine your browsing experience. Google DeepMind just dropped a bombshell announcement. Project Mariner, a research prototype that's set to revolutionize how we use our browsers. This cutting-edge project leverages the power of Gemini 2.0, their latest AI model, to bring you a browser experience like never before. Imagine a browser that understands your needs just by looking at your screen, and then seamlessly executes those tasks for you. That's the vision behind Project Mariner. It combines advanced multimodal understanding and reasoning capabilities to automate a wide range of tasks right inside your browser. Think about effortlessly navigating complex websites, automatically filling out forms, even responding to your voice commands. Project Mariner takes it a step further by showing its work every step of the way, offering visual feedback and updates to keep you informed and in control. But how does it work? Project Mariner excels at interpreting your complex instructions, breaking them down into clear, actionable steps. It can grasp the relationships between various web elements and their functions. And if it ever encounters an ambiguous instruction, it'll politely ask for clarification. Project Mariner is currently in its early stages, accessible only to a select group of trusted testers. However, if it proves successful, it has the potential to transform how we interact with the internet. Imagine booking flights and hotels, researching products, even managing your finances, all with just a few simple instructions. This is the future Google DeepMind is working towards, and they're committed to developing this technology responsibly, prioritizing safety and security above all else. If you're as excited as I am about Project Mariner, you can join the waitlist on the Google DeepMind website. Stay tuned for more updates on this groundbreaking project. Let's see the demo video shared by Google DeepMind team.
Today I want to tell you about Project Mariner. It's a research prototype exploring the future of human-agent interaction, and it's built on Gemini 2.0. Like with all new technology, it's important for us to build this responsibly, which is why we're starting small. We'll be getting feedback from a group of trusted testers and using their experiences to really shape how Project Mariner evolves. Let me show you how it works. So Project Mariner works in the browser as an experimental Chrome extension. I'm going to start by entering a prompt. Here, I have a list of outdoor companies listed in Google Sheets, and I want to find their contact information. So I'll ask the agent to take this list of companies, then find their websites and look up a contact email I can use to reach them. This is a simplified example of a tedious multi-step task that someone could encounter at work. Now, the agent has read the Google Sheet and knows the company names. It then starts by searching Google for benchmark climbing. And now it's going to click into the website. You can see how this research prototype only works in your active tab. It doesn't work in the background. Once it finds the email address, it remembers it and moves on to the next company. At any point in this process, you can stop the agent or hit pause. What's cool is that you can actually see the agent's reasoning in the user interface so that you can better understand what it is doing. And it will do the same thing for the next two companies, navigating your browser, clicking links, scrolling, and recording information as it goes. You're seeing an early stage research prototype, so we sped this up for demo purposes. We're working with trusted testers to make it faster and smoother, and it's so important to keep a human in the loop. After the fourth website, the agent has completed its task, listing out the email addresses for me to use. And there you have it. We're really just scratching the surface of what's possible when you bring agentic AI to computers, and we're really excited to see where this goes next.
News number 5. Windsurf is making waves with its first big update. Codium is back with some major updates to their AI-powered coding tool, Windsurf. They're calling this release Wave 1, and it's all about making Cascade, Windsurf's AI assistant, even more autonomous and powerful. This update is packed with new features that give developers more control over how Cascade works. One of the biggest changes is the introduction of automated terminal commands. Previously, you had to approve every command Cascade wanted to run, which could be a bit tedious. Now, Cascade can automatically execute safe commands like ls or kubectl get, making the coding process much smoother. But don't worry, you still have full control. You can customize which commands Cascade can run automatically by creating allow and deny lists, ensuring that nothing dangerous happens without your permission. And that's not all. Codium also introduced Cascade memories, starting with rules. These rules act as guidelines, helping Cascade understand how to approach different tasks and produce better code. Think of it like giving Cascade some helpful tips and best practices to follow. You can even set global rules that apply to all your projects and local rules that are specific to certain workspaces, giving you ultimate flexibility. Overall, Wave 1 is a significant step forward for Windsurf, making Cascade a more intelligent and efficient coding companion. If you're a developer looking to supercharge your coding workflow, you definitely need to check out these new features. Let's see the demo video shared by Windsurf team.
Cascade is becoming more autonomous with our latest updates. We're introducing updates in waves, and this is Wave 1, where we are introducing the first versions of 2 new projects: Cascade Memories and Automated Terminal Commands.
Cascade Memories lets you define custom rules that guide Cascade suggestions to match your development style. For example, tell Cascade my build system is Bazel, and it will generate the proper commands to build and run your project. Tell Cascade don't modify files in this directory, and it'll treat that directory as read-only. Type speak to me in Italian, and Cascade will respond accordingly, perfect for our global developer community. With Memories, you can define global rules that apply to all projects or local rules specific to each individual one. Cascade always remembers and respects your preferences, so you can set and forget.
Automated terminal commands enable safe, autonomous code execution, closing the loop on code modification and verification. Previously, all commands required developer approval. In Wave 1, Cascade now classifies commands as safe, ambiguous, or dangerous. Save commands are allowed to run automatically, while others will still need user approval. Users can customize these lists to whitelist save commands and blacklist risky ones, controlling Cascade's level of autonomy. An opt-in setting will also let the AI decide for itself on ambiguous cases, while always respecting the allow and deny lists. Besides these major features, we are also pushing out our most requested extensions: WSL support, so you can develop on Linux using your Windows machine; improved dev container support, so you can use Windsurf directly within your preferred development environment; and Pyrite for type checking and semantic highlighting for Python. This all comes on top of the features that we released prior to Wave 1, such as image input support in Cascade and settings imports from Cursor. It's been about a month since the launch of Windsurf, and we've welcomed so many developers to the platform. Thank you all for being early adopters. There's much more cooking and ready to drop in the new year. Surf's up.
News number 6. Together AI acquires CodeSandbox to launch first-of-its-kind code interpreter for generative AI. Together AI just announced the acquisition of CodeSandbox, and they're joining forces to create something truly groundbreaking, the Together Code Interpreter. This is a first-of-its-kind tool that brings built-in code interpretation to the Together inference platform, revolutionizing the way developers work with large language models, LLMs. You see, LLMs are great at generating code, but up until now, they couldn't actually execute it. Developers had to manually test and debug everything in separate environments, which slowed down the workflow. But the Together Code Interpreter changes all that. It takes the code generated by LLMs, runs it in a secure virtual machine sandbox provided by CodeSandbox, and then feeds the output back to the LLM. This means LLMs can now perform data analysis, visualize data, and solve much more complex problems, all in real time. This technology has already generated a lot of excitement among developers at companies like Blackbox AI, who are using it to power their coding agents for millions of users. And the best part is, CodeSandbox is also launching a beta version of their CodeSandbox SDK, which gives developers an API to create and run these secure VM sandboxes themselves. This means anyone can start experimenting with code interpretation and build amazing generative AI applications. Together, AI sees this as a major step towards making generative AI more accessible, versatile, and impactful for everyone. The future of coding is here, and it's powered by AI that can not only write code, but actually understand and execute it. So stay tuned for more updates on the Together Code Interpreter, and get ready to see what amazing things developers will build with it. News number 7. Microsoft introduces Phi-4, a small but mighty language model for complex reasoning. Microsoft has just unveiled Phi-4, their latest breakthrough in AI technology, a state-of-the-art small language model SLM that excels at complex reasoning tasks, particularly in mathematics, while only being sized at 14 billion parameters. This makes Phi-4 not just powerful, but also incredibly efficient, requiring less computational power than larger models, which enhances accessibility and practicality for a wide range of applications. Despite its compact size, Phi-4 demonstrates exceptional capabilities, outperforming larger models, including Google's Gemini Pro 1.5, in solving intricate math problems akin to those in competitive math environments. This impressive performance stems from Microsoft's strategic use of high-quality synthetic datasets, meticulous organic data curation, and innovative post-training techniques, pushing the limits of what small models can achieve. Moreover, Microsoft emphasizes responsible AI development with Phi-4, making it available on Azure AI Foundry. This platform offers comprehensive tools for managing AI risks throughout the development lifecycle, including features for content safety such as prompt shields and detection of protected material, ensuring the model's responsible usage. For those keen to explore Phi-4's potential, it is accessible today on Azure AI Foundry and will be available on Hugging Face the following week. Microsoft's commitment to safe, accessible AI innovation is clear with Phi-4, signaling more exciting developments ahead in the AI sector. Stay tuned for further updates. News number 8, Google unveils new deep research feature for Gemini AI Assistant. Google has just made a major splash with a new addition to their AI-powered assistant, Gemini. Introducing Deep Research, a feature designed to transform how we conduct online research. Deep Research equips Gemini with the capability to act as your personal AI research assistant, delving into the web to analyze complex topics and synthesize a streamlined, comprehensible report detailing all essential findings. Here's how it works. You specify a topic, and Gemini crafts a multi-step research plan, which you can review and modify as needed. Once approved, Gemini embarks on a comprehensive exploration, searching relevant information, navigating through links, and refining its findings continuously. The result is a detailed report that not only summarizes the key insights, but also includes links to original sources for further exploration. This feature is ideal for anyone from students tackling complicated subjects to entrepreneurs analyzing market competitors or marketers tracking the latest trends. Deep Research promises to significantly cut down on the time spent scrolling through search results and managing numerous tabs. Currently available to Gemini Advanced subscribers on desktop and mobile web, with plans to expand to the mobile app by early 2025, Deep Research is poised to redefine the efficiency of digital research. With Gemini's latest upgrade, the future of streamlined AI-powered research has arrived. News number 9. ElevenLabs unveils AI Engineer Pack, a treasure trove for developers. Exciting news for developers. ElevenLabs has just launched an exceptional deal known as the AI Engineer Pack, which is brimming with credits and substantial discounts on some of the top AI tools and services available. This pack is perfect for anyone from developers creating the next major AI-driven product to hobbyists engaging in personal projects, providing all the essentials needed to enhance your AI development endeavors. Included in the AI Engineer Pack are $50 or more in credits from prestigious companies such as Clerk, Hugging Face, Intercom, Jam, Mint Li-Fi, Neon, PostHog, Prolific, Supabase, and more, including Black Forest Labs, DeepReal, Fern, Hydra, Human Loop, Lovable, Mistral AI, Perplexity, Replicate, and Wordware. This extensive list of credits offers a valuable boost, helping you to build, test, and perfect your AI applications effectively. The benefits don't stop at credits. The pack also includes fantastic discounts on premium plans and services. Highlights include 3 months free on ElevenLabs Creator Plan, 50% off Clerk's Pro Plan for 6 months, and 6 months of HF Pro. Exceptionally generous long-term savings are also part of the deal, such as 100% off Intercom in the first year, 50% in the second, and 25% in the third. This incredible offer is available for a limited time, so make sure to act swiftly. To access the AI Engineer Pack, simply complete the form on the ElevenLabs website. Whether you're a seasoned developer or just starting out, this pack provides a golden opportunity to access state-of-the-art AI tools and resources at a significantly reduced cost. Don't let this chance slip by. Grab your AI Engineer Pack now and start creating something extraordinary. News number 10. Anthropic unveils Clio, revolutionizing AI safety and privacy. Anthropic, known for the Claude AI model, has just launched a transformative new tool named Clio that promises to redefine our understanding of AI usage while ensuring stringent privacy standards. Understanding user engagement with AI is crucial for enhancing safety protocols, but accessing user data raises significant privacy concerns. Clio addresses this by analyzing user interactions with Claude in a way that preserves confidentiality. Clio operates by extracting essential data from conversations such as discussion topics, interaction frequencies, and languages used. It then clusters similar interactions together based on their content themes. For each cluster, Clio generates anonymized summaries that exclude any personal information. This aggregated data is subsequently categorized to provide Anthropic with clear insights into usage patterns without compromising individual privacy. Thanks to Clio, Anthropic can now identify popular use cases for Claude, ranging from coding and educational assistance to more unique applications like dream analysis and Dungeons & Dragons strategy. Clio also enhances the company's ability to enforce safety measures. It has been instrumental in identifying and dismantling spam networks and maintaining vigilance during critical events like elections. Furthermore, Clio aids in refining safety protocols to ensure interventions are timely and necessary. This breakthrough signifies a major advancement in responsible AI development, showing that it is possible to derive deep insights from AI interactions without violating user privacy. Clio's implementation sets a new standard for AI safety and trustworthiness and could lead the way to a more secure AI future. And there you have it for this week's AI News Roundup. Which update impressed you the most? Drop a comment below. If you found this video informative, please like, subscribe, and click the bell icon to stay updated with the latest in AI. Thanks for tuning in.